Hello, my friends. Are you sick and tired of listing your sports cards one by one using eBay's user interface and clicking around and filling all the drop downs? Well, I was tired of that too a while back, and I really can't strongly recommend enough switching over here to the bulk upload report. If you've ever seen this tab here on eBay, it is magic. It is taking a spreadsheet with a bunch of items and a bunch of details about those bunch of items and getting them uploaded all in one fell swoop. And you can see, just look how often that I use this. Even last week, I got over 600 cards listed. This is on top of my day job. This is on top of having a kid and a wife and a personal life and other hobbies and stuff. But I'm using this all the time to get a bunch of stuff added at once. So if you watched my video from last year, awesome. Here we are, 2025 due diligence update. If you didn't watch last year's video, just don't worry about it because this is meant to be a direct substitution. And so I'm going to show you how to use this template feature and really spoil it for you because, again, linked in the comments, linked in the descriptions is this template of an actual real life upload report that I'm going to put to my eBay shop right now. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to upload this to show you that it works, and we're going to get these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards listed at one time, and then I'm going to show you some of the finer details about these columns and what's important and what's kind of optional. And then at the end, I'll give you a little sneak peek of what my hits lister software does to really even automate this further. So to go from a bunch of columns down to just as few as possible. So stick with me. But again, shortcut, go ahead, try the template. It's linked and figure it out for yourself if you don't want to watch the rest of this video. So let's get right to it. File, we're going to go ahead and download. We're going to call this .csv. You can see here it just is going to go to my downloads folder just for fun. Let me go ahead and rename this for YouTube upload demo. Yay! So we're going to call it that. We're going to go here. So this assumes the work is done. Template's created. I'm going to click upload template. Choose file. We're going to go to my downloads folder for YouTube. Yippee-ki-yay. And let's see here what happens. A couple of things I'm trying out for the first time. Should work. There we go. So you see this completed. Here was my file. It says completed. Now to go ahead and see what happened, we're going to go to our active listings and make sure that these things went as they said they did to my eBay store. We got a few baseball cards, few football cards, and what have you. I really don't use this view all too often, so maybe we'll go to start date. That seems like a clever way to get to what we just listed. And you can see all my old stuff that hasn't sold. Haha, rip me. I should probably rethink my pricing on those, shouldn't I? And so look at this here. This is interesting. Right here, we got those exact items that I put. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5. Wait a second. What? I said there were 6. What the heck happened? So we got 5 items here. This is my active listings. And so when you go here, you can see start date. Boom, November 1st, 2025, 12:45 p.m. Pacific. Well, heck, that is just now. So awesome. That's great. Look at that. So we got 4 buy it now listings. We got 1 auction. You can tell here that 199 in red means no one has bid on it. Well, what do you know? Once we get there, we'll see that that is exactly what I plugged in. But where the heck is that 6th listing? Well, let's go ahead to go see what's scheduled. And here we go. Adam Wainwright Blue, number to 199. Fun little title there. And so it's going to start here in a few hours. You can see I'm on Mountain Time, so convert this, that's 5:50 p.m. So coming up here in just about 4 hours. And this is perfect because that is exactly what I wanted to show you all and why this bulk upload is so powerful, because you can do a lot with it at once. So, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Again, I'm spoiling it. I'm showing you the results of this powerful .csv upload thing, and I was able to do different prices, different buying formats, fixed price versus auction, as well as listing live versus listing scheduled, all in this spreadsheet. And last thing I'll hammer on this before jumping over to the actual template itself, which again is linked. Please go ahead, download it, try it out. Let's go ahead and take a look at these item specifics. But this is a full-fledged eBay listing. If you walked through one by one and you clicked all those buttons, you could do this. But you can see it's ungraded, and it's got my photos in here. So it's got the front, it's got the back, it's got my little marketing image. It's got my shipping policy. It's got estimated delivery, returns, payments accepted, and details. So it walks through who it is. It's a parallel. It's serial numbered. Here's the card name. Is it autographed? No. Is it original? Yes, it's original. It's in the right category. And it even has my boilerplate description. Really cool. And I think this is a high quality listing, right? It's got all these details. It's got a description. If you have any questions, you can read that. It's got the images tied to it. And that all came from this magical CSV spreadsheet. And I say magical, it's actually pretty darn simple. It's old school. If you don't know what CSV stands for, and at this point I'm going to jump kind of from demonstrating what the heck I just did and what happened when that thing got uploaded. Now we're going to actually talk about the template itself. So .csv, all that means is comma separated value. It's basically a dumbed down spreadsheet. I am using Google Sheets to read and edit ultimately what gets saved as a CSV file. So think of it as just rows and columns. It's just a spreadsheet. You can open it in Excel, Google Sheets, Libre, etc. Probably other programs I'm not remembering. I use Google Sheets because it's free. I don't want to pay for Excel. I run a small business side hustle with my eBay, and every expense matters. I don't have Excel for personal use. I'm not going to use it here. So one thing to mention, if you're wondering, did I make this up? No, eBay provides these templates. And so you can go to your eBay seller hub, and I'll link this as well. But basically, by the category, you have to download the template to understand what's required and what you need. A couple of notes on this. You can download it as a .xlsx or Excel file. You can do that. I don't like that. It does look a little different, and I think if you're just starting out and you have Excel, it might be a little bit more helpful. But there's a lot going on. I like the CSV because it's just two-dimensional. It's just rows and columns. You don't have to worry about formatting or anything else. So I recommend the .csv, and it is tied to the category. And so while the example I'm showing here today is for sports trading card singles, you can really mimic this for any category on eBay that has that template. It's just the information, much of this information is going to look different. So bear with me. You might still learn something if you're coming in from a different angle, but this is for sports trading card singles. And so all this is, so I downloaded the .csv template back in the day. Quick note, some of the stuff I have here is above and beyond what they even suggest in that template. It's crazy. You actually have to learn this stuff just by like fumbling around through documentation and looking for it. But basically the number of columns here in my template is longer than what eBay will provide you off the shelf if you download it from them, which I think is a little wild. So anyways, let's get to it. This first row is very important. And this comes with the template. You got to leave it there. It's kind of how it uses to identify and index everything. So you got to have it there. Second row, these are the columns. And as you might guess, some of these things like player, athlete, this is what ties to what you see in those fields that we just looked at within the listing. So that's kind of the basic breakdown. It's very important that this action with all this stuff around it, it's very important that this is in your first column. That's another way that eBay indexes off your spreadsheet and is able to convert everything. But I should mention, these other columns don't have to be in this exact order. This is the order that I have it in. It may not even be in the exact order if you downloaded it from eBay, but these can kind of interchange. But very important that this is the first column. And in this case, I'm adding listings. One of them was scheduled. We'll get to that. We'll show how that pops up here in a second. I get asked, hey, can you make draft listings? Well, you can make draft listings on eBay. You can't do it through the upload report, which some people find a little bit of an annoying. One workaround potentially is to do, like I was showing you, a scheduled listings, which allows you to go, I could go into this and edit things before other people see it. So that's kind of a workaround, but as of right now, really for this video, you want to use add. There are some other templates you can use for revise, but we're just talking about adding listings to your eBay store. And then another quick office keeping note, anytime you see an asterisk at the beginning of one of these headers, it typically means it's a required field. And if it doesn't have an asterisk, it typically means it is optional. That said, it's in your best interest to include optional fields. Why is that? Well, that's for SEO or search engine optimization. I'm sure that SEO is dead and gone at this point with AI taking over the world, but whatever it means, the more data, the better. So it's highly encouraged for your own sake to include optional fields like I'm showing today. Anyways, we'll get here, just try to rock through these as quickly as possible, but custom label, this actually is only visible to you. This is not visible to your customer, and it's kind of like a SKU or a store keeping unit. And you can see here, I put information tied to how I acquired these cards. And so these are all personal codes. This is my own convention, but you can see like I use this SPIV project, and then I happened to purchase this card just a few days ago, October 27th, 2025. And I use this in some of my data analysis when I'm assessing how my business is doing. So this is optional. I do recommend using the custom label field, especially if you're doing inventory management. You have a bunch of boxes, you want to locate things. It's a pretty good, clever field to use. So the next one, player athlete. This is very self-explanatory. One note, and I probably could have picked one weird, better example card, but let's say you have an example where you want to do multiple players. Many of these listings can handle multiple values in their fields, but you just want to use this pipe character right here to separate those. So I'll leave that here for the template for you to consider. Of course, now that I'm editing this, who cares? I've already uploaded these to eBay. They're already live, so I'm just showing you kind of from this spreadsheet what's going on. But you want to use that pipe character anytime multiple values are allowed. And I do want to say that eBay allows, I think, a maximum of 30 values for multi-value fields, such as C: player/athlete. This C is actually tied to the category that you're working with, which we'll get down to in a future column. But in this case, it's sports trading card singles. C: season as well, year manufactured, vintage. I personally say it's no unless it's older than 1980. I believe eBay's definitions are way more lenient than that. Like it's like more than 25 or 30 years old, but in this case, all of these are modern cards, so they're not vintage. A manufacturer, so you can see here, a bunch of Topps Choice Sports cards. English. This is going to be common for, a largely American industry. However, I do list Japanese cards from time to time, and so you can change, Japanese as the language there. Similarly, country and region of manufacture. We got set, and so you can see here, Topps Update Series. This is kind of an interesting note. Now, the average layperson like myself and just walking around society, if you're talking about 2019 Topps Update Series, you're just going to say 2019 Topps Update, and you're going to leave out the series. The reason why I have the series here is getting back to kind of that idea of how can people find your card. And funny enough, eBay, for their options, like heck, let's just revise this so I can kind of show you what what I see or what the average person sees, because the average person is not using the bulk upload report. But you can see here, this is what corresponds to all those headers that I'm talking about. But, and I won't save this, if I go 2019 Topps Update, check this out. This is the recommended option from eBay. So even though I, in everyday speech, call it 2019 Topps Update, if I don't include this full term here, I'm potentially going to miss out on the most common method of finding and filtering this series. And so it's a high priority to me to match what eBay is saying when it comes to possible options. And so I have inferred that. I have looked at that after doing this for a long time. And so I include series in all my sets for the sets that matter. So you can see here card number, parallel variety. This is if it's parallel, good thing to include. So in this one I do, hey, it's an image variation. For that Wainwright one we're talking about, hey, it's blue. And this is one, oddly, just talking about it, you're only allowed to choose one. You can't have multiple here. It's just a single value field on eBay. And so you can see here, there's no checklist or checkbox. It's just one. And so you kind of have to know that just by doing it a few times. Features, however, is multiple. And you can see our good friend, the pipe character, comes into play. This one, in fact, is a short print pipe parallel/variety. This one is a parallel/variety pipe serial numbered. Well, how does that look like on here? That corresponds to this, features, parallel/variety, serial numbered. And if I, look up what eBay has, that is their recommended terminology for, is it a parallel? If you put just parallel in your upload template, like say I left out the /variety, it would show up here as just parallel. And so I could, very clearly show you this one was not recommended. It's called a custom value, but it's going to do what you tell it to on that CSV upload. But the thing is, people may filter by the default filters. And if you just do parallel and you don't do parallel/variety, they're going to miss out potentially on your card. So that's why it's very important when you're doing this, try to follow eBay's terms. Rookie, as another example. Do rookie, don't do rookie card, don't do RC. Here's an example there where it says rookie. All right, team here. In this case, I put multiple teams. Why? Well, the Isotopes are a minor league team for the Rockies. So I think it's an appropriate and accurate thing to do Isotopes pipe Rockies. Of course, you could spam this. You could do all 30 teams. I have a feeling you'll be penalized for that if they notice that you're doing that, because it's just fluff. And it just defeats the purpose. Like if someone sees your store and you have every team selected and it's obviously not every team, they're probably not going to want to do business with you because it's just freaking annoying. Next one, sports. So you got baseball and football going there, which corresponds. Right, we only have one football card, I guess. And the league here, this is another hilarious one. Major League, parentheses, MLB. Well, if you ever took any English classes, you would expect this to say Major League Baseball, MLB. That's not a typo on my end. Look at this. This is how eBay does it. Major League. Major League, parentheses, MLB. Grinds my gears. I mean, they do it for the other sports. It should definitely say baseball, but again, it's their rules, not mine. I'm going to stick to their terminology and not be perfectly accurate here, but not a typo on my end. That's how eBay calls it. Then we got card name. This is lately something I've been recognizing they've been using for like showing similar cards. You can actually like click a card and see a bunch of varieties of it. And this is typically year, set, hyphen, card number, player name. Store category. So this is something I won't get into in detail, but you just got to believe me that these numbers are very specific to my eBay store. So these tie to categories. Heck, let's go ahead and just click this just for a second because it won't take long. But you see these categories? These have numbers assigned to them in the background. So I got a rookie card, I got a parallel, I got an autographs. We can get into that in detail in the comments if you really have questions, but trust that these correspond to like a parallel I think that's my parallel one, and this one would be my autograph one at the bottom here because that's the autographed one. So if it's 1, it's not categorized. It's just go into your store, but not in a store category. So the lesson here, these numbers are going to be different for you than they are for me. So don't worry about the exact numbers. Just know that these have to correspond to the numbers for your store categories, kind of like these that I'm showing here. And if you need help on finding where those are, let me know. All right, print run. So you can see here I have one numbered card. It has a print run of 199. Condition ID. I'm not doing graded cards with this batch. I do list graded cards with this quite a bit, but the detailed stuff you need to know is that 4,000 is the condition ID for ungraded or raw cards. I want to say 2750 is for graded cards. There's some more information you have to have for those. So if you want me to, and I may even just add a line here to show you what it looks like to do a graded card, but trust me that this is ungraded, and then these card condition definitions correspond to, in my case, near mint or excellent. I got a couple of excellent cards, which is these ones ending in 11. The rest are near mint. And let me just show you card condition definitions. This is really important to know. You can deal with a lot of returns and other baloney on this. Just know eBay has 4 categories for ungraded cards. Here they are. And then they have the condition ID tied to these on a different web page, which I'll try to remember to link here. But just know, like, hey, near mint, that corresponds to a condition ID for the upload report. Excellent has a different one. Very good, a different one. And poor, the next one. So in this case, it's 4,010 for the near mint, 4,011 for excellent, 4,012 not in this listing, but that would be very good, and what have you. These next few, and I'll try to add an example here, but not part of the upload. This gets to the grade. This is also one where you don't make up the term. You don't put 7 if it's a PSA 7. You have to use their code for a grade of a 7. And then same thing, professional grader. You don't just type in PSA here. You got to use a code that corresponds to how eBay recognizes PSA. Same thing with certification number. And heck, let me just pull up an example here in case you're lost. But if you want to list a graded card, and first go ahead and buy this awesome Larry Doby 1958 tops. But if you go here, I know that this is a PSA 6 card. And then you can see here, if you add the certification number like I did, and the grading company, it does several things for you, but it actually has the pop report for that card, which is really cool, and I think a nifty feature, especially if you're trying to understand how rare something is. And so just know I had to put the information in my listing to say the certification number. I had to give the code that corresponded to PSA as well as the code that corresponded to 6. And this is cool. 6 is a solid card. It's kind of definitely mid-grade, but on the nicer end of things, and really presents well. So the more you know. Should have used an example, but alas, I did not. The next one, and you can see just leaving it blank doesn't do anything. Those cards I listed, it doesn't say NA, it's just not there. So leaving blank optional entries, totally fine. Is it autographed? Yes or no? You'll see some fields be yes or no, and some be 1 or 0, but it may not matter. Just keep that in mind if you run into any errors. Signed by. That's my Adam Lind Blue Jay signed card. Who authenticated it? This is just a string. Card size. All of these are standard for me. And then here's where we get to the listing format. You got to follow this terminology. You can't do fixed space price. You can't do FP. It's fixed price with the capital F, capital P for fixed price, or buy it now is how most people refer to it. And then auction is the next one. And so what I did here, duration, you got to put GTC, good till canceled, tied to your fixed price. And then for auctions, you do have some variety. And so I did a 7-day auction for that scheduled listing. So this is the Wainwright that goes live in a few hours. 7-day auction. I do not have best offer enabled. And these are some of the fields that won't pop up if you download eBay's template. This is kind of special sauce. It's really not that special, but more reason to use mine rather than eBay's. But you have options. Keep in mind, if you do a 1 or a 3-day auction, typically eBay will apply a fee. And if you upload your report with the 1 or 3, it's just gonna get you the fee, right? It's not gonna like validate that you want to incur that fee. So you just got to know that. Schedule time, really the key note here is that this is in GMT, Greenwich Median Time, maybe. Might be messing up that acronym, no biggie. And so you can see when I put this in, it's got to be in this exact format, but 2025-11-01, that's today's date. And then this time, 2350, typically that would be 11:50 p.m., that's how you think about it. But in Greenwich time, that's really, 4-ish hours from now, where I am on Mountain Daylight Time. So you got to factor in a few things when you use this to get it scheduled in advance. Best offer enabled. Do you want offers or not? I like having offers, so I typically do that, but got to show you the 0 in case you don't want them. Start price. This is equivalent to buy it now for fixed price listings and then starting price for auctions. All right, the next few, these are very important. Not going to get into total details. I do have another video on how to change these, but you see here, return profile name, payment profile name, shipping profile name. All of these, similar to the store category, all of these correspond to terms in my shop, not necessarily in your shop. You need to go establish profiles for returns, payments, and shipping if you're going to use these on your bulk upload report. You're going to have to do that to yours. And so I call it, these, but this only works for me doing the upload. So you're going to have to change those. And I could apply different policies. That's maybe something else I could have done for example's sake, but you can have multiple policies declared and just call them out here in your bulk upload. Mine are all original. Location, this is just city, state, and it will, show on the listing like located in Aurora, Colorado, United States. It'll parse that and pull that. So you just got to do city, state. Quantity, you do multiple quantities for fixed price listings, not for auctions, but, heck, let's just, for demos purposes, call that one quantity of 2. Category. This corresponds to sports trading card singles right here. Very important to get that right. Very important. You can only, to my knowledge, use one upload report per category. So I couldn't just randomly upload vintage sweatshirts in addition to sports cards. I have to do all sports trading card singles. I have a different template I use for lots. That's a different template, different information there, and some other stuff as well. So if you're interested in seeing those, let me know. Excuse me. All right. Title. This is important. Why? Well, the maximum length is 80 characters on these. I have a computer program, hits lister I call it, I'll get to, and this needs to be 80 characters or fewer. And you can see here, got all those in. All these I guarantee were no greater than 80 characters. Then I kind of like putting the player name, the features about it, because this is how a person will search. Skip Schumacher rookie. Boom. That's a common search term. So this is kind of where you get a little bit of creative freedom to, do things the way that you think people are going to find it. All right. The next one here, let's talk about just a little bit. You can see it's bulky, right? And then I'm going to paste this. This is HTML. And so I have a boilerplate HTML description for all my listings. So let's just look up HTML preview just to show you what this is. And so it shows up as static text on my upload report, but it renders as HTML kind of formatted stuff on eBay. And that's what all this nonsense is with the carrots. If you've never seen that before, all it is HTML we'll take a 20-second field trip so I can paste this in. And so, yeah, this gets added to all of my descriptions. We got some bold font, we got some italics, some freaking links. Yeah, buddy, this will take you to this YouTube channel, show how I package ESE shipments. I like including this because it's free, right? I mean, it's just boom, tied to every description. And then finally, last thing we'll talk about is the image field. And once again, we're going to use our friend the pipe. So I showed you here on our good friend Adam Wainwright, Uncle Charlie, we got 3 images here. Well, that corresponds to 3 images that I have on a publicly accessible AWS S3 bucket. So we got our first image, pipe. We got our second image, pipe. And then we got our third image, which is just my marketing ad that I tack on to every eBay listing. So I did 3 here, but you just use the pipe. I'm not going to go into details here, but if you use something like AWS, a few things required at setup because it has to be publicly accessible or eBay won't be able to pull that image and throw it in the listing. And that's why, that's kind of the conclusion of the matter. This spreadsheet, I was able to get all 6 things with really high quality characteristics and categorization and other stuff added to my store at one time. It's amazing. It's awesome. Images, store categories, price, schedule. That's what's possible here. And if you're a little intimidated, because, think about it. If you were doing this, like let's just say I was adding a new card. I don't know. And then I was going to say this was, Scott Rowland, 2006, no, upper deck. You can imagine how long would this take to type out? Does it save you time? It surely would. It definitely would increase your listing quality. But for me, this would still not be good enough for my own everyday operations. It's not good enough. It's not fast enough. And if I was going to type all this stuff out fully, couldn't do it. And so kind of what I do to make things way easier, you can see these columns, this goes to AR in terms of information. And this is what I type out to literally create what you just saw. So like AR versus Q, that saved me a ton of time. And so I can just type all lowercase. I can type name. I can type team, just using the abbreviations, 2 letters or 2 characters, 2 numbers for the year, a little abbreviation, like it renders as Topps Update Series. I just put in TU, card number, features. I don't have to type out short print or image variation. I just put SP, IV, serial number, leave it blank unless there is one, excellent condition or blank. I just assume near mint, and then some extra SEO terms here. And then a little bit of information about my image files, which are here. So those are all numbered. You can see these beautiful images with the team color in the background. 1, 3, 5, 7. It's awesome. And so that's how last week I was able to get over 600 cards uploaded. Why? Well, they were all Topps. And because I'm not using some custom third-party AI whiz-bang software, I'm using Google Sheets. So if I'm doing a bunch of Topps cards, look at that, drag and fill. It's awesome. And then same thing here. If I was doing, 2012, I can just drag and fill. And at this point, now instead of typing out this information a bunch of times, I'm just doing drag and fill once and doing things. So maybe that's what I'll end with. Maybe that's what I'll end with if I go just show you my history of uploads and how often I'm doing this, because it's so powerful. And I'm using my software because I literally input this and then I run my software right here. Heck, I'll just do it right now just to show you how quick it is. I've already run this, so it already has the images in AWS. So it's a little bit of a false advertising here, but it actually reads my Google Sheet. So I just click the button. It reads my Google Sheet that I typed in, which is this. And then I have to identify the image prefix. Boom. It's easy. It's today. It's all automated. Suggest I'm doing that. Go ahead and click yes. Found all my images. Awesome. Input check looks good. And here's the titles that it auto-generates. So all this here, I didn't have to type that out. It makes my titles. It makes sure that they are 80 characters or fewer. And in this case, it checked to make sure I already uploaded those. So it didn't upload any to the bucket because they're already there. They're already on eBay. So this is just showing you after the fact what happens. But I don't bother with one-by-one listings on eBay, and I also personally don't bother with this, but this is how I started. I started by looking at all of these fields that eBay wants and needs for the upload report, and then, hey, how can I simplify those? And this cost me about 12 cents a month, no more, to keep all my images in AWS. That's it. No cost to Google, no cost to Python, and I'm, uploading hundreds of things at a time. So if you like this, let me know. I'm flirting with the idea of trying to make this deployable so that other people can use it, because this is awesome. It really doesn't take too much time. So let me know in the comments. Send me a message if you would enjoy something like that. But until then, like my channel, subscribe, I guess is what you call it, if you like this content. And we'll be back for the next one as kind of do some due diligence updates to my processes here for eBay and sports cards listing. Stay classy, y'all. We'll see ya.